90s by the afternoon, but look, some scattered downpours developing in random locations as that moisture begins to pool up from the south. And my friends, yes, we'll finally get some opportunity to see some cooling relief from a shower or thunderstorm. Most of those downpours falling apart after sunset. The clouds, though, look to hang on as we head into your Thursday night into Friday, and leading up to better chances for widely spaced showers and storms on a daily basis, moving past your Thursday into the weekend. And not to mention, with a couple of fronts nearby, we'll also see the temperatures kind of fluctuate as well. I'll give you a first alert to the changes in the temperatures from the very hot temperatures to below average highs by the time we head towards Labor Day and into next week as well. Let's take a look at that 10-day forecast, shall we? 98 the high temperature for today, 100 degrees actual air temperature for tomorrow. A reminder, while yes, the numbers stand out at you today and tomorrow, it will actually feel hotter on Thursday and Friday of this week because of the humidity level. So again, that 98 operates more like about a 99, 100, 101 today. 100 tomorrow feels like about 100 to 105. 96 on Thursday feels like 105 to 110 because of the humidity levels increasing across the area. Mixture of clouds and sunshine and a chance for an afternoon downpour. Same thing as we head towards your Friday, Saturday, Sunday. A daily chance for rain and storms finally coming back into the fold. To what extent is to be seen? There has been some indication that a big ridge of high pressure would build in sometime early next week. And if that's the case, then the coverage of rain will likely go down next week. But there's also climatology in the back of our heads as meteorologists to say, we've had a couple of times where this ridge of high pressure has been able to build in and clear out the board, but typically that is not the case. And typically you have a very messy, kind of muddled pattern that develops between a trough to the north, a ridge to the south, and we're kind of sandwiched in between. I think we may get sandwiched in between somewhere in to the end of the week and into next week. That may lead up to some better chances for rain and storms, and times maybe a better chance, especially south of I-40 during the course of next week as that frontal boundary sags a little farther down to the south. But I think that for us here in most of the Mid-South, let's say northeastern Arkansas, West Tennessee, your better chances for rain will likely emerge through the weekend into the early portions of the week. And for North Mississippi, it could continue into the mid portion of next week.
And we need rain, right, Patrick? I mean, we haven't had rain in a while, and it could really help us with some of these hot temperatures, right?
Well, at least the temperatures, yes, they would come down, but of course it brings back the humidity levels up in a big way. But we desperately do need some rainfall at this point. If we stay dry, if Memphis International Airport does not catch another drop of rain between now and the end of the month, we will have the driest August on record here in the city of Memphis, and those records go back to about 150 years. So, you know, it has been a long time coming for us to have this dry of weather across the region. And of course, right now, at least today, tomorrow, we'll probably stay dry. But I think that we at least have some opportunity to catch a little bit of rainfall as we head into the latter half of the week, into the weekend. But yes, we do need some rainfall. But you ask a farmer who's out harvesting right now, they may need another day or two, a couple of days to try to get the harvest completely done, cut, and dried out before they send it off to market.
All right, meteorologist Patrick Ellis giving us the deep dive on the 10-day forecast, starting us off on the digital desk. Patrick, thank you.
No problem.
Okay, let's look right now at actionnews5.com, some of the top stories that we are following for you. First off, I want to point you to a couple of things. This multi-vehicle crash that involved military equipment, one person dead. This is in Arkansas. This is on I-40 headed towards Little Rock, Arkansas. It is a semi-truck involved in a deadly crash that was carrying military equipment. You can click on this story and read more about it on actionnews5.com. Grass fire started there. Mile marker 211 I-40 eastbound near Brinkley. Multi-vehicle crash involving 3 semi-trucks. One person died. And then traffic backed up for miles. So you can go to actionnews5.com, read more about that. The other thing that I want to point you to is this right here, Action News 5 upgrading its signal. Okay, so we've been talking about this for several weeks. We are upgrading our technology and upgrading our signal for the next few weeks. So you might experience some signal issues here, but it is for the entire process to be better and to be stronger for all across Memphis and the Mid-South. It's going to take a few weeks, but if you are having problems, you can always go to Digital Channel 5.10, and also you can log on to actionnews5.com and watch us live. You can always do that, and you can certainly watch us live on the Digital Desk. You can also look at the Digital Desk interviews that we do here. Just look at the pull-down tab on our pull-down menu here and see the articles and various interviews in their entirety. Share them on social media, email, and text message as well. So again, actionnews5.com for your source there. Another top story that we are following here on Action News 5 is the MATA board that's meeting later this morning. They have a number of financial issues. They have a budget deficit we've been talking about earlier this year, $60 million. They're expected to approve a budget today, which would mean job cuts and cuts of various bus routes. Action News 5's Tavarius Haywood has more on that.
A lot is on the line with this approval. About 200 jobs are expected to be cut, along with several routes. Now, MATA is trying to cut its budget from $84 million down to $67 million. That's a $17 million difference. Here's what we know so far about what's expected to be cut. According to a resolution to approve the final budget, the number of fixed route operators will be cut from 171 to 95. MATA Plus drivers will be reduced by 23 employees from 73 to 50. Call center employees will be cut from 100 to 49. Administration and staff support positions will be cut from 153 to 68. Reductions in fixed routes could be made, cutting the current 23 fixed routes down to just 17. In addition to eliminating services after 7 p.m. on weekdays and Saturdays, then cutting services at 6 p.m. on Sundays. Just exactly what those routes are that could be cut or will be cut, MATA has not released that information just yet. That meeting is expected to start at 3:30 this afternoon. In downtown Memphis, Tavarius Haywood, Action News 5.
Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. The use of illegal vapes is still very much a serious problem, especially when it comes to kids in high school. We're talking about teens, adolescents. They use these disposable e-cigs from China, and they have an extraordinary amount of concentrations of nicotine. They're highly addictive, and they're appealing to these kids and adolescents because of their appearance. They look like toys, they're school supplies, and they have all these different flavors. So how do we combat this? Because right now, according to a study since 2019, 60% of youth, high school kids, reported using these disposable e-cigarettes. It's an awful situation. I know so many parents firsthand that have struggled to deal with this issue. Let's bring in someone to help us and discuss this in detail. I'm joined right now by Rich Marianos, a former ATF deputy director. He's joining us on the digital desk. Rich, thanks so much for joining us. Let's talk about this problem first off. Let's just kind of outline the problem, how pervasive it is, and how much of an epidemic it is. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning. Let's just go with the statistics of what you said earlier. If 6 out of 10 kids are using it right now, it is a huge problem. especially right now with a new school year. We've seen in the last 5 years a 2,000% increase among young adults that are addicted to these vape products, and now they're going to be going into schools. Almost zombies is what I say. So addictive, with products like Tyson's Heavyweight 1000 Puff Mango Cherry version, not manufactured by industry, manufactured by Chinese organized crime. But this addiction creates a disruption which affects our school system, our parental duties, school resource officers, our administrators. And if we don't grab a hold of Chinese organized crime that's involved in this, the problem will just become more and more severe every day going into this year.
How are these kids? Because, I mean, both my kids are in college and they were in high school, and they would tell me certain bathrooms in the high school where these kids would vape and have these flavors, cotton candy, creme brulee, that sort of thing. How do these kids, first off, get these products? Are they being sold everywhere? And why isn't there a crackdown on this kind of thing?
Well, let's start first. How are they getting it? A lot of it is through the websites and social media, or illicit vape shops that are selling it directly to the kids that aren't paying attention to the laws. They're not paying attention to any regulations, and they're actually putting out poison, unregulated Chinese poison, to our children. What we need to be cognizant of and understand that this is our number one threat of national security. It's another vehicle for Chinese organized crime to come in, make more money on the backs of America, and go after our greatest resource, which is our children.
So bad, Rich. It just infuriates me as a parent and what my kids have told me about the epidemic and the problem that they see firsthand. So we've identified, this problem and how large it is. So let's talk about solutions for all those parents, the grandparents, family members out there.
Well, you brought it up a little bit earlier, and we need better enforcement. We need the government to pay attention to what's going on. We need states to develop a registry to what is illegal in terms of also what is legal for tobacco harm reduction. When these products first came out, the good ones are designed to get people away from combustibles, but the bad ones are now addicting our children. We need enforcement. We need to be giving the laws the tools, directories for law enforcement to go and put these vape shops out of business, to disrupt the supply chain, and understand that organized crime hits everyone. It's time that we hit back, and as a community, as a society, hit back in taking these out of the marketplace and making it safer for our young adults.
I couldn't agree more, Rich, especially when you talk about, this poison, for lack of a better term. I mean, we have no idea what's in this stuff. And, no matter where it's marketed, I mean, we have no idea what's in that, the long-lasting effects of some of that liquid, that vape liquid. Are there any places any states that, from your best vantage point, that do it right in terms of law enforcement, cracking down, anything like that? And if so, can we talk about them? Or if not, let's come up with some ideas and how we can push this to our state lawmakers.
The best strategy are those that have registries, that are working in concert with their law enforcement partners and coming up with a solution, working with their schools, identifying the delivery system that these young adults are using to sneak it, and then going out there again to arrest and disrupt the marketplace. Enforcement works. It always has worked, but let's go after the bad guys in the marketplace. Let's understand what the problem is and understand that the ones that are FDA approved are good for those who want to curtail combustible smoking. Everything else, it's a crime to possess, sell, and we need to get it out of the hands of our kids and enforce the government, not just to use the FDA, but give local law enforcement their tools to enforce it. The FDA is trying, but sending letters and going out there without a structured strategic plan is not the solution. We need a real law enforcement agency and real police to get behind this, to go after, again, our largest national security threat, and that is Chinese organized crime.
I think a lot of parents and grandparents, Rich, are saying, hey, can you say it louder for the people in the back? You know, we have thousands of people watching us each and every morning here on the Digital Desk. If they want to do something and they agree 100% with what you're saying, what would you recommend they do?
First thing, let's go on our website, website put together with some partners, illegalvapes.com, that has all the information on good practices, even failed practices, good articles, bad articles, but it gives the picture of how to do this and how to do it right and create a holistic approach. We can't do this in a vacuum. Our politicians have to. They must work with the school system. They must work with the parents. They must get involved in the community and hear what the biggest problems are. You talked about the bathroom vape location. They need to understand that some of these schools have locations where these kids know to go that are unsupervised, and it's a problem, it's a threat. They need to work together in this, what I call the holistic approach, rather than make these decisions in the vacuum. And then further, if it's the FDA, ATF, if it's local police, whoever it may be, that they need to use resources to target this problem.
Totally agree there. Illegalvapes.com. Anything else you want to mention this morning, Rich, we haven't touched on you feels important? It's truly an epidemic that we need to crack down on and get under control.
Parents need to understand that this is a terrible issue. It is affecting the way our kids are developing, how their brains are developing by the use of these illegal vape products. And they also need to take a stronger approach. Some can't just brush it away that my kids aren't in gangs, my kids aren't using drugs. If vape is the only problem, it's okay, I'll live with it. That's the wrong response. It's the wrong attitude. And they need to take a more aggressive approach to jump in and realize that a product that's manufactured for kids by organized crime needs to be taken very, very seriously. And it's not only a threat to public safety, but it's a threat to public health.
Illegalvapes.com. Rich Marianos, former ATF Deputy Director. We really appreciate this discussion this morning on the Digital Desk. Thank you for letting us know about not only your website, but also best practices to crack down on this awful epidemic that's affecting so many teens and adolescents out there. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share the correct information out there.
News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. There is a new study that reveals that many patients are still paying out of pocket to prepare for a colonoscopy. In other words, they are paying for that medication, if you will, that extremely powerful laxative in order to prep your body for a colonoscopy. And there is a group out there that is trying to change all that. I'm joined right now by Chris Evans. She is a Colon Cancer Coalition president and is someone that is fighting to reduce barriers for colonoscopies, and one of which would be that medicine that you take beforehand. Chris, good morning to you. Tell me exactly what you and others are fighting for. Good morning.
Good morning. If we know that colonoscopy prevents or detects colon cancer at very early stages, but that's only when the colonoscopy is a clean colon, and that's what your prep is for. And so it's an integral part of that colonoscopy to have that prep. And most patients don't know they have choices in prep. There are so many out there on the market, and that some are readily uncovered by insurance, and some of them are not covered at all by insurance. So this is what we're trying to get the message out there.
Why would some be covered by insurance and not others? Is it just because it's too expensive?
Well, all of them are supposed to be, except for the over the counter, which is very commonly prescribed. So that's kind of our point, is that every patient can tolerate a different kind of prep. There's 4-liter preps, there's 2-liter preps, there's pill form. There's all kinds of choices. And depending on your situation as a patient, you're going to like and tolerate one of those better than the other. So that's what we want to get out there, is for people to talk to their doctors and really find out which one's the best, and it all should be covered by insurance.
Yeah, I have to say I had one recently, and the preparation for it, I remember I did have to pay, but it was like it was a copay. That insurance did pay for a portion of that laxative or whatever it was that cleans you out. They did pay for a portion of it, so it was, a nominal fee, maybe $10, $15. Would you like to see like no fee at all? Is that what you're talking about?
No fee. You're lucky enough that you have insurance and that you're able to cover that. But we experience patients who have so many barriers to colonoscopy, with transportation, childcare, time off work, just everything economic like that, that we don't want any costs, because it's an integral part of this test. You cannot have a good colonoscopy without a good prep.
Gotcha. So tell me what you and your coalition are going to do to move forward with this.
So we're kind of working legislatively. We know that the ACA said this has to be paid for, and it's just kind of falling through the cracks, I think, with that copay, like it's a medication versus part of a screening colonoscopy. And we want people to, this is a piece of the screening colonoscopy. It is an umbrella, it is the same, it is not different, and it should be paid for fully. So we're working towards that, and we're also working to get the word out through your listeners to have that, to advocate for themselves, to demand that from their colonoscopy provider.
Okay, so we have thousands of people that watch us each and every morning here on the Digital Desk. Anything that you would like them to do? Is there a place where they can go online?
You can always get a hold of us at www.coloncancercoalition.org. We have lots of information about colon cancer and about our events. And in there, there's an info line. If you need some help, email us. We'll get involved. Just really think about the prep, not just the test. The test sort of overwhelms your mind when you have to go for a colonoscopy. And so then step back a minute, think about the prep, and think about asking those questions, whether you're diabetic, whether you can't tolerate large volumes of liquid, whether pills make you can't swallow pills. There's all kinds of really good considerations to not take the prep as a sideline. It's actually the main part of the test. And so let's talk about it. Let's get it the right thing for you, what you tolerate and what you can afford.
Okay, Chris Evans, we really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much for the info, the knowledge, and good luck with your coalition's push to make it all paid for by insurance. Thank you. there is a critical shortage of blood right now. In fact, it is gotten to the point where the American Red Cross is calling this an emergency type situation because it is plummeted. The inventories have plummeted a lot this summer. Let's bring in someone to talk about the blood shortage and what we can do about it. I'm joined now by Dr. Baya Lansky. She is a Division Chief Medical Officer with the American Red Cross. Dr. Lasky, good morning to you. Tell us about the blood shortage and the serious effect that it has.
Yes, well, the recent severe weather has had a significant impact on the blood supply. We have seen Hurricane Debbie, the wildfires, the tornadoes that have forced the cancellation of about 60 drives just in the last week, which means 1,500 blood donations that were not collected. This is now coming on the heels of July, where we saw record temperatures across the country during a time when it's already challenging to collect due to travel and vacation plans. So as you said, since July 1st, the American Red Cross blood supply has dropped by 25%, which means about 19,000 units that have not been collected. And we are working very closely with our hospitals around the clock to make sure that patient needs are met. But unfortunately, the blood is going out the door faster than we are able to collect it.
Right, and right now you need all blood types, but type O is the most favored, right?
That's right. Donors of all blood types are welcome to come donate. No matter what your blood type, you can help patients. But you're exactly right. Type O blood product is particularly low. O negative is patients of any blood type and are particularly critical for emergencies. And so distributions of these most high demand, most needed blood types have been reduced to hospitals in recent months. And then also platelets of all blood types are in constant need as well.
Okay, so let's talk about the best ways because we have thousands of people that watch us each and every morning here on the digital desk. We broadcast to West Tennessee, North Mississippi, and Eastern Arkansas. What are the best ways that people can go ahead and donate blood?
Yes, well, you can find us at redcrossblood.org, call us at 1-800-RED Cross, or find us on the Red Cross Blood Donor app. You can find a location near you to make an appointment. And we are encouraging everyone, if you have never donated before, it is easy and it's a short amount of time that of your day that you can save a life and touch someone else's survival. As a thank you, we are offering a $20 Amazon gift card to anyone who comes in during the month of August. And I would just encourage people, patients depend on hospitals, hospitals depend on us, and we depend on you to help support them. So please, as you go about your summer, please remember the people who are in the hospital who need transfusions today, tomorrow, next week. We really need people to come out and donate.
All right, Dr. Baya Lasky, we appreciate you and everything that the American Red Cross does for everyone, especially in those moments where we need the American Red Cross the most. Thank you, and hopefully the message has been sent out loud and clear to the thousands of people who watch us. Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. Have you thought about having a will? Perhaps you already have one. Well, so many people wait. They wait for life-changing events, health scares, maybe property purchases, parenthood, you starting to have kids. They wait for those moments in order to consider having a will, but it's so important to have because that's really allowing you to ensure your final wishes are honored. And instead of going somewhere else or instead of things happening where you don't want them to happen, your wishes are honored in a legal will. So how hard is it to get a will? How much does it cost? Is it very time consuming? Let's bring in someone to help us navigate this issue. I'm joined right now by Ashley Robinson. She's a senior director at LegalZoom. They do all kinds of wills for us. She's joining us on the digital desk. Ashley, good morning to you. So for our audience right now, can you tell us exactly what a will is and how important it is to have this kind of legal document? Good morning.
Absolutely. Good morning. So think of your will like your personal playbook for what happens after you leave the party. It's a legal document that outlines how you want your treasures divvied up after you're gone. That could be your bank accounts, your real estate, your favorite guitar, even your beloved pets. But why is it important? Well, if you do not have an estate plan in place, the state's default settings could kick in and they would decide how things would be divided up. And in some rare cases, everything you own could end up in the hands of the state. So to avoid all of that potential family drama and definitely lost time and money, by getting that will in place, you are protecting what matters the most to you and your loved ones and your legacy.
Yeah, the last thing we want is for all of our property, our estate to go to the state or somewhere else where we don't want it to go. So, when do we, Ashley, say, when's the best time to say, okay, I'm going to make a will, I'm going to have it done this week or this month? Is there a certain time when people should do it?
I think August 15th is a great time to do it. The month of August is National Make a Will Month. This is a perfect time to get this process started. And you're absolutely right. Most Americans procrastinate. And in fact, 2 out of 3 Americans don't have a will at all. And so a lot of them are procrastinating for those big milestones or even a really scary medical incident. You shouldn't wait. Don't wait for those milestones to give you that nudge. Get it started today. We've got great deals. Basic will starting at $89 for the month of August.
Wow, that's nothing. So let's talk about some of those misconceptions because a lot of people think, oh, well, it's so complicated. It costs way too much. It's kind of morbid. I don't want to think about this. Let's navigate through some of those misconceptions.
Absolutely. So there's 2 major misconceptions that really keep people from getting their wills in place. The first is they think they don't need it. They think they're either too young or there's not enough money in the bank account. But the fact is anyone at any stage of life or income level should be really thinking about their estate plan. You can be as young as 18 to have a will in place. The second misconception is that they think it costs a fortune to get the will together. And as I mentioned, we have processes that make that easy and affordable to everybody, and you don't have to go to a lawyer's office to get it done.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, can you do it on your own? Do you need an attorney? What would you recommend for someone? We have thousands of people that watch us each and every morning here, Ashley, and they're probably thinking, well, gosh, I don't have time to hang out at an attorney's office for 5 hours. How do we do this?
Absolutely. Well, yes, you can do it on your own, and we've got some great do-it-yourself wills through our website, but having an attorney available to help really gives you peace of mind. The way I like to think about it is whether you should cut your own hair. Should you cut your own hair? You can, but should you? Not really. Looking to an expert to help you through that process will really give you that peace of mind. And particularly for a will, they'll make sure the paperwork is filled out properly so it will be rock solid to hold up in court. We have a great network of attorneys that can help customers across all 50 states. Unlimited revisions, advice, and as we said, no trips to a lawyer's office required.
Where do people make their biggest mistakes when it comes to a will? I know some people out there, they might think, well, I'll just put it down, to anyone who reads this, this is my last will and testament. I mean, is that one of the mistakes they do? What are some other mistakes?
I mean, I think the biggest mistake is not having a will, right? As we talked about, it's so important to have, if you want to keep your legacy intact, if you want to make sure your loved ones are taken care of after you're gone, having a will really is the ultimate way to protect what matters most.
Okay, so we've talked about a number of different things here. If someone's watching and they want maybe 3 basic headlines of what to do, just some bullet points, where would they start?
Well, the best place to start really is LegalZoom.com. We've got great deals this month through the month of August, National Make a Will Month, where you can start the process really early on. But if someone is trying to determine, is a will or a trust the right thing for me, talking to an attorney and figuring out what's best for your scenario and what the legacy is that you want to leave behind, that's really the way to do it. So anyone can go to LegalZoom.com to find out more.
Okay, Ashley Robinson, thank you for spelling this out for us. Really made it easy to understand. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, another. Good morning. Welcome back to the Action News 5 Digital Desk. I'm Andrew Douglas. I want to talk about Wounded Warrior Project right now. They partner with organizations all across the country to expand reach and enhance programs, improve advocacy efforts for post 9/11 injured veterans and their families. And in return, the organization provides companies with a way to support their communities, involve employees, make an impact in the lives of the wounded, the ill, and the injured veterans. I want to talk more about what they do and how important these nonprofit business relationships are. I'm joined now, I believe it's Bree Katzer-Todd, VP of Business Development for Wounded Warrior Project, and Brian Tucker with CSX. Thank you both for joining us. Bree, over to you. Tell us about some of the programs and services offered to veterans through Wounded Warrior Project, and how do these corporate sponsorships and partnerships really help make these services possible? Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. Wounded Warrior Project has a number of different programs to really meet the warrior where they are in their recovery journey. And they focus on mental and brain health, financial wellness, connection, advocacy efforts, as well as physical health and wellness. And we provide these programs free of charge to the warriors and their family members. And that's really where our corporate partners step in, because they help us fuel our programs and services. They help provide much needed funding. They engage their employees. They connect with communities, and they help amplify the mission of Wounded Warrior Project each and every day.
Brian, over to you. Tell me about CSX involvement with Wounded Warrior Project and why you decided to get involved, and specifically about this drone program, I believe, that you are helping fund, right?
That's correct. Well, service is really part of CSX's DNA. Every day, the men and women of CSX, the 23,000 railroaders, are out there in service to our country's economy, keeping goods moving across the country. But our connection to service runs even deeper than that. About 1 in 5 of our employees is a veteran, has served our country. So it's something that we care deeply about, something that our employees are very close to. And that's why we're so proud to partner with the Wounded Warrior Project to offer a whole host of programs and support and resources, but the one that we're particularly proud of is the Warriors to Work program, and this is the drone certification program. We have equipment, we have experts, we use drones in the railroad industry, and we train these veterans to get certified as drone pilots to help with that transition from military service to the civilian world. And that is something that we're really excited about, and we're very proud to help these warriors as they make that transition, because we know that it can be a challenge.
Bree, tell me a little bit about Wounded Warrior Project. So many of us know that name and maybe have some familiarity with what exactly it is, but can you spell it out for us, and how long you guys been in existence and what exactly you do?
Absolutely. So Wounded Warrior Project, we've been around for 20 years, and we started as a very small organization, and now we're a national organization with a local impact. So we serve warriors and family members in their community, and we provide a number of different programs. As I mentioned, they are free to the warriors and their families, and those programs are still in need. We have 71 warriors signing up every single day for our programs and services. And we're able to deliver them because of companies, because of individuals that have raised their hand. And so we're continuing to provide the necessary programs and services to warriors each and every day.
Bree, we have thousands of people that watch us each and every morning here on the Digital Desk. If someone is watching and perhaps they're a business owner or perhaps they're just an employee and they want to help out, what are the best ways to do that?
Well, I would welcome anyone to go to woundedwarriorproject.org, and there you will find a number of different ways to get involved, whether you're a company, an individual, as you mentioned, an employee, and you want to take this back to your company. And also, if you are a veteran, a warrior, a family member, and you want to learn more about our programs and get involved, you can find all of the information there also. So it's woundedwarriorproject.org.
Brian, did you mention something about the drone program yet?
Yes, I did. That's a program, it's the Warriors to Work program, and we're specifically focused on providing drone certification training to the Wounded Warriors through the Wounded Warrior Project, and something that we're very proud of.
And tell me what it's been like to partner with Wounded Warrior Project. Has it benefited your business, employees, what?
Well, our partnership with the Wounded Warrior Project is something that we are extremely proud of. As a partner, you know, you want to have a relationship where you can grow together, and that's exactly what we've done. I mentioned that we have a number of things that we're working on, but we're always working together to increase the impact. It's more than just writing a check. It's really about getting our employees involved, finding ways to make connections that make sense for our business, and we've actually hired some of the Wounded Warrior members, and it's just something that we're really proud of and that we look to continue for the years ahead.
Okay, Bree and Brian, we appreciate you coming on the Digital Desk, informing our audience about the importance of not only supporting the Wounded Warrior Project, but also those nonprofit business relationships. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Okay. We love everything Memphis Botanic Garden. It is such a gem in Memphis and the Mid-South, and they have an event for everybody going back to school. I'm joined now by Natalie Brashear. She is joining us from Memphis Botanic Garden, and we all love the big backyard, especially all those kiddos out there. And tell me, you have a bash coming up, right? Tell me about it. Good morning.
Thank you. We do. I'm so excited to be here to talk about our upcoming event, the Back to School Backyard Bash, which will be hosted by the Education Department here at the Botanic Garden within the wonderful My Big Backyard. It is to celebrate a wonderful 15 years of our children's garden being a vital part of the wider garden. It was founded in 2019 and is still going strong, providing a wonderful outlet of nature for Memphis families. So the Bash is here to celebrate not only back to school and back to learning, but 15 years of My Big Backyard as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, 2009. It's been around, August of 2009. So for someone that, and some of those kids out there, perhaps some families that have never been to My Big Backyard, explain it for us and tell us about this back to school bash.
Yes, so My Big Backyard is a 2.5-acre garden within the Memphis Botanic Garden that has over 12 different curated garden rooms that allow children and families to explore various kinds of play landscapes, learning landscapes, tons of different botanic features, as well as artistic sculptures and everything kind of embedded within this wonderful garden. So on September 7th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we are all going to gather together. We'll have drop-in activities, learning activities, native animal educators with animals present. We'll have face painting, food trucks so that everyone can kind of gather and have a picnic. We'll have hot dogs, ice cream, lots of different games, board games as well, and even a fitness class to kick everything off with Fit for Moms. So we're really excited by all the different things that are going to be going on during this bash. A little bit of something for everyone.
And it sounds like it's for ages, all ages, really. I mean, it's not just a specific age group, is it?
No, I mean, it is a family garden by nature, definitely. We serve a lot of kids and have wonderful classes for all grades, kind of 12 and down. But the bash itself, excuse me, the bash itself is for everyone, families to come together. Anyone that enjoys walking through maybe and watching just the garden grow and change over the years. Maybe even they grew up in My Big Backyard years ago and want to come and celebrate 15 years later in their life as well. So it's really something, again, for everyone and the wider community.
No question about it. Something that is enjoyable every time I go to Memphis Botanic Garden, and I'm sure other people feel the same way, Natalie, is that it's almost like a breath of fresh air. You know, you're just like, wow, this is so nice. It's so beautiful. It's right in the city of Memphis, and you can just kind of explore and get lost. Especially at a young age when you know, I can remember as just a young person, you know, going through nature and exploring. It's like it really opens your eyes into how beautiful nature really is. Do you see that a lot?
Definitely. I feel so lucky to be able to come here to My Big Backyard to work every day. Like you said, it is a breath of fresh air. It's a wonderful reminder that we can have such beauty here embedded in our urban landscape. And I think it is really important for everyone, parents, grandparents, and of course, children, to come and take time to spend in nature, because as you said, it's really healing. It puts peace in your mind, and it also shows a lot of different ways to look at the world around you differently and find new beauty in small spaces and identify plants and learn about the natural world. Kind of the more you know, the more you appreciate.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's briefly talk about costs.
So the Back to School Backyard Bash will be free with admission, with garden admission. So members can just come, of course. So it is a very accessible event. And again, you can also bring your own food for the picnic. We will have food trucks there. Like I said, hot dogs, ice cream, our lemonade stand. We'll have little snacks as well. But we encourage everyone to make this event personal to them. They're allowed to bring whatever kind of picnic items they want. And yeah, as I said, free with admission.
Okay, and for those who aren't members, Natalie, it's my understanding $7 for ages 2 to 12, 10 for seniors, 12 for adults. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay, all right. Anything else you want to mention before we let you go?
just keep an eye out for upcoming events at the garden. We have our fall plant sale, which is always a wonderful event coming up as well. Lots of great things as we transition from summer to fall. But yeah, we really hope to see you on Saturday, September 7th at the Backyard Bash. Thank you so much for letting me talk about it today.
Absolutely, Natalie. And I know when I talked to Gina last, she was telling me about all the different fall activities that you guys have planned.
Yes.
If someone's watching us right now and they want to learn more about Memphis Botanic Garden, can you give us the website one more time?
Definitely, you can go to www.membg.org and find our events calendar to see a full layout of the upcoming events we have this fall. As you said, we do have a lot of wonderful campfire and harvest-based events. It's hard to believe that fall is around the corner, but yes, definitely lots to come up and keep an eye out for. And also at Memphis Botanic on Instagram has a lot of great updates as well.
Awesome. Natalie Brashear, we really appreciate your time on the Digital Desk. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us here on the Action News 5 Digital Desk. As you're heading out the door, get ready for another hot day. Lots of sunshine to go around, but a hot day, needless to say. High temperatures today, topping out in the upper 90s, approaching 100 in one or two spots with a light southwesterly wind. Keep in mind, humidity levels remain low for the time being. That is helping us out for not adding too much insult to injury. So again, the upper 90s today will still operate like the upper 90s to lower 100s. I'd say between about 99 to 102 on the feels like temperatures today. So again, not too far off the baseline. And tomorrow, as we approach 100 degrees for actual air temperatures, it's not going to be terribly bad either. But the humidity levels will make it feel much more sticky and much more humid and much more excessive as we head towards the end of the week. 76 the overnight low temperature, a touch warmer than this morning, mostly clear and a light south breeze coming through here around 5 miles per hour. Speaking of Wednesday, the last time that we hit 100 degrees or higher was August 26, 2023. We're forecasting 100 for Wednesday, but keep in mind that last time that we hit 100 degrees plus, it was at 102 over a year ago. So we're on track to see our first 100-degree day. If it's not today, it will likely be tomorrow based off of what we're seeing. 98 the forecast high. Now notice one thing with the feels like temperatures, they do creep up, so meaning our humidity levels will also creep up slightly going into your Wednesday. It really takes hold as we head towards Thursday and Friday. 96, again, the air temperature lower than today and tomorrow, but the feels like temperature will approach 110 because we'll be adding more moisture in the atmosphere. And for some of you, a few downpours to come back into the fold as well. 92 on Friday operates more like 105 to 110. We'll do the same process on Saturday, maybe a little cooler through the weekend as we add more clouds and a few more showers and storms to go along with it as well. And that comes by way of a couple of fronts moving into the area, stalling out and keeping the weather a bit more unsettled in the extended range. Of course, the summer heat, we want you to be reminded to drink plenty of hydrating fluids, wear light loose-fitting clothing, take plenty of breaks in the shade or indoors, and be neighborly, checking in on groups of folks who may not have adequate access to cooling relief, your pets as well. And as I always say during these very hot days here in the Mid-South, just remind yourself how you speak to folks in this type of heat. Looking ahead to Thursday, a first alert to some opportunities for some spotty downpours coming back into the fold through the afternoon hours. That's a look at First Alert Futurecast, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. A few downpours for a few folks, not many, but we'll take whatever we can get because we need the rainfall at this point. We've only seen 0.2 of an inch of rain here in the city of Memphis, officially at Memphis International. Now, understand, we've had some folks who picked up 1 or 2 inches of rainfall through the course of the month, but officially at Memphis International, where the records are kept, we have only seen 0.2 of an inch of rain that will likely lead up to one of the driest August on record here in the city. Showers and storms that are able to bubble up with the daytime heating on Thursday will tend to fade away after sunset. Clouds will linger around the area, but guess what? Again, with a couple of fronts moving through the area the next couple of days, latter half of the weekend to the weekend, adding in some better chances for scattered showers and storms, something we desperately need. A first alert to those rain chances. And again, you'll notice coverage of rain not more widespread, or at least opportunities will be a little bit more widespread. Some spots a little bit higher on the coverage rain the farther south that you go, closer to an inch of rainfall through the next 7 days. And again, that's an average number. That's not going to be specifically in one location, but more so an average across the board as we head through that time frame. Of course, we want you to stay weather aware anytime and everywhere. One way to do that on the Action News 5 First Alert Weather app. You can download it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. You can scan the QR code right there. It'll take you to your respective app store, so you can look at the interactive radar, look at the forecast that is updated by your First Alert weather team multiple times a day to keep you and your family informed anytime and everywhere. All right, so your extended forecast looks to be pretty hot over the next couple of days, especially as we head into the next 3-4 days. Again, the actual air temperature 98, 100 between today and tomorrow. The humidity levels remaining low enough that it will not be adding too much insult to injury. That 96 on Thursday will act hotter than the Wednesday 100 degrees. That 96 is going to operate more like about 105 to 110. Adding in a few spotty downpours, a few more spotty downpours on the back end of your Friday, heading into Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and cooling off the temperatures as well as we head into the first week of September. Highs back in the 80s with more clouds, occasional shower chances. The question mark with the extended forecast, the placement of the frontal boundary. The farther south that the front's able to get, the drier the air mass will be, the drier the conditions will be heading into the first week of September. If the front hangs out right on top of us, stalled out, well, more clouds, more opportunities for rain. We may be a little cooler, but the muggier air is going to definitely be there. But we do need the rainfall. It would help out to see some rainfall here in the coming days, but we'll see how it all plays out in that extended range. But in the meantime, the heat's going to be the big story between now and the end of this work week before the rain begins to increase again.
We got the kids back in school. They're starting to learn stuff, and parents and grandparents everywhere are rejoicing. Yay, they're back in school. Good. What about their health when they're out on the competition field, when they are competing with others? You want them to do as best as possible. You want them to be great and achieve greatness. But what about the safety and the health of your student athlete, okay? Especially with the heat that we all see here in Memphis and the Mid-South. Let's bring in someone to talk more about it right now. I'm joined by Kyle Lubrano. She is a member of Players Health. It's a sports insurance company joining us on the digital desk. Kyle, thanks so much for joining us here. So where do parents, student athletes, where do they make the biggest mistake when it comes to staying healthy during their competitions? Good morning.
Morning. Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah, so a couple things. The first one would be, I think we don't acclimate the athletes back into the activity, right? So, they've probably been indoors a little bit trying to beat the heat. They've been in pools, and so we kind of throw them back out on the field and expect them to go full force right away. And so, really, we'd want them to start off with some, shorter sessions, speaking, particularly around the coaching aspect and kind of acclimating them right back into it in terms of, maybe shorter sessions to start with, not if they're, if we're talking about football in particular, doing, no equipment to start, shorter sessions leading into larger sessions as they get acclimated. It can take up to 2 weeks to be fully acclimated to the heat. So in preparation for that, parents can really start to get their kids outdoors, maybe go out depending on what sport. If it's soccer, kick around with them. If it's running, obviously they're going to want to have been running leading up to the preseason.
Great. That is a great point. And, it gets so hot here in Memphis in the Mid-South, especially this time of year in the month of August and even in parts of September. And I guess when it comes to hydrating, that's something you need to be cognizant of no matter what, right?
Yes, yeah. So as we send them back out into the heat, they should be hydrating frequently. So making sure that they have their water bottle with ice, and sometimes, depending on how hot it is and how long the session is going to be, making sure they have 2 water bottles. It should be where the coaches know that the heat is going to, make them need to take water breaks more often. So every 20 minutes or so, there should be a water break. As a parent, I often have the discussion with my child. If you really feel like you need to take a break to get water, just, excuse yourself really quickly, go get it. We really shouldn't be denying water. And then before and after, right? So the day before, we're making sure that they are hydrating enough. And then after, and obviously this is probably more for more elite sports or high school sports like football, weighing yourself before and after. Obviously, we're not going to have our 7 and 8 year olds weighing themselves, but before weighing yourself before and after to see how much fluid you've actually lost, and then making sure that we're replacing that.
Yeah, that's all great advice. I mean, both my kids played youth sports. They're now in college, and so, staying hydrated, acclimating the right way. Are there signs that parents and grandparents should watch for when their kid perhaps gets in trouble?
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's a difference obviously between dehydration and heat stroke, and both are obviously very serious and lead to further complications if if they're not dealt with. So, hydrating won't necessarily, prevent heat stroke. Heat stroke is when the core temperature of the body gets too high, and we need to, start to cool that down. But there's signs, and one being, obviously if the child is younger, they may be a little bit more irritable. They could have symptoms kind of resembling the flu, where they are dizzy, lethargic. They could be pale. They could be excessively sweating, vomiting. And so just really being diligent around noticing those things with your child, and listen to them if they're telling you that, they don't feel well. Obviously, we don't want to send them back out into the field if we're, doing, 2 sessions a day. Just making sure that we are, listening and watching for those signs is key.
No question. And, a lot of times they'll come home, especially in those first few practices where they're going to be a little bit sore, they're going to be a little bit more tired. Anything else that we should be watching for just to ensure